Hey everyone, welcome back. How did you guys like the start of the week on Monday? Oh my gosh, Bitcoin's up 10%. We reached 89,000, like 666 or something like that. I was glued to the screen today. I'm surprised I got any work done at all with the price action that we saw in the miners and Bitcoin. Oh, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are doing actually fantastically right now. This is the time that we've been waiting for the last 12, 24 months, however long you've been in this space. It's just, it's been brutal, but we are getting to the end of the light and we're seeing light at the tunnel. So it's good, right? We'll take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin and the miners as well. I'll give you guys my thoughts on reevaluating everything because based on what I'm seeing here in the last week or something like that, I think my original estimates for Bitcoin going to 180,000 are possibly null and void now. I think we might be actually going higher. We'll talk about that. I also did a poll with you guys. Right now, it looks like a lot of you are still thinking 150,000 might be where we end up at. We'll see where the poll ends towards the end of the show as well. We'll talk about some other things. The miners, we'll take a look at those. How did they do in October? We'll grade those. Which ones came in top for 6 and 8 metrics as well. And then we'll get into, probably before that, we'll get into the news stories that we do have here, which is on Hive. They're buying some more machines, increasing their hash rate, which is good. And then we got Mara also buying more sites. That's also great news for Mara there. Okay, so we'll get to all that. Then we'll get into the questions as well and everything else. But you guys, we got to go through this. We always have to go through this. Not financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research as always, please. And then full disclosure down below that. If you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. All right, let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin today. Bitcoin, we had a nice 2 days here right now. So Bitcoin was up today. They closed, we had a high of 89,666. And then we came down a little bit here. We're coming down a little bit on the new day as well, which isn't too bad. I think we need a little bit of a healthy pullback. Nothing to fear here right now, at least. But we closed at 88,770. We were up 10.37% on the day. The miners, for the most part, did at least, earlier in the day, they were doing much better. They were up 3x, 5x on top of Bitcoin, but with Bitcoin being up 10% on the day, a lot of these guys were up at least, 2.5x on it, more or less, to end the day. Some were actually like 3x, and some were actually kind of worse than Bitcoin itself, which was a little shocker here, but there might be answers as to why. All right. Looking at Bitcoin here on the 1 hour chart, we can see that it is kind of overbought here on the RSI right now. So like I said, we might need a little healthy pullback if it happens. If it doesn't, that's fine. We'll take a look at the 1 week chart here in a second. We can see it on the 1 hour or 4 hour chart as well. RSI is pretty high, over 70. We're overbought right now. On the 1 hour chart, we were way overbought. I mean, we were at 90 on the RSI. We've come down a little bit here, which is good. We're still above 70 though on that one. On the 15-minute chart, we can see that the RSI has fallen back down to right around 53, 54, something like that. It was a little overheated, but check this out. It was overheated here, but it still continued to go sideways, down a little bit, but the price action, oh my gosh, love seeing that happening on the 15-minute chart. Now, when we look at the weekly chart here, we're just now peaking above 70 here, which leads me to believe that we might have a couple more weeks where we go nicely up before we have a pullback of 5, 10, 15, 20%. Before we continue to run up even more. So that could kind of put us right around December timeframe, right? Maybe mid-December before we see a healthy pullback. In the meantime, we might see these little dips here that we're seeing right now and continue going forward, but things can definitely change here. As far as the miners are concerned, oh my gosh, what a great day for those guys today. Been way overdue, right? We love seeing these kind of days. Bitfarms was up 17%, almost 18%. BitDigital up 26% today. BitDeer up 26%. Cypher is only up 3%, right? Cypher's had a huge run up here recently in the last couple weeks, couple months. So are we seeing some rotation out of that one into some of the other miners, right? Cleanspark was up huge, almost 30%, 29% on the day. CORZ was up also only 3%. Another one that was kind of down low. CORZ also has had a huge run up here recently, right? They're getting quite a bit of price appreciation because of HPC AI. They also have a lot of mining as well, but I think a lot of their prices are already priced in for HPC. I still think they can go up much higher from where they are right now. And they'll continue to go up higher, I believe, as time goes on, especially as they get closer to energizing the servers for CoreWeave, right? When that happens, I think that's going to be kind of maybe the top of it, depending on if they continue to grow with their own self-Bitcoin mining side of things. Hive was up a little bit as well. Well, not a little bit, 12.9% today. Hut 8 was up 25%. Hut, I think, is just getting some people backing it. We saw that they got Anthony Pompliano backing them, basically supporting them, or what would you call it? Being what's that called? Ambassador for them, I guess. And then we also saw Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, right? Talking about them also. I think it was on CNBC or someplace as well. So you're kind of seeing that pump there because from Bitcoin mining side of things, there's really no reason why they should be pumping as hard as they are. IREN was up nicely as well, 16%. Marathon up huge also today, 29%, almost 30%. Riot was up also nicely, 16.8, almost 17%. Wolf was up 6.91%. So that one did actually better than CORZ and Cypher did today. And that one has also been pumping a lot lately here in the last couple of weeks, couple of months, mainly because of the HPCI hype around them. Even the smaller miners did really well today. Annie was up 29% for absolutely no reason, right? They haven't provided updates on their production here for September, October yet. I think people are looking at the pricing on some of these guys that are way down in price, and they're like, okay, we're going to get into those because those might be a really good return on investment possibly. Argo was up 15% as well. Digihost, 16%. DMG, 19%. Mawson up 16%, almost 17%. Stronghold was up 20%. And then we had some of the ETFs as well. BitQ was up 15%, BKCH 17%, DAP up 16%, and WGMI was up 13%. So all around a really good day for the miners, small and large, and the ETFs as well. Now, let's take a quick look at the network hash rate. There's not much going on there. I thought maybe it would pop a little bit more, especially with Bitcoin price going up. We would see a lot more of these smaller miners, not smaller miners, but maybe the older machines that are out there getting plugged back in. And I was in a couple of spaces today where they were talking about that people are plugging those in because they're starting to become more profitable again. But you're seeing like 2 petahash here, 4 petahash there being turned on. It's not a huge amount, but it hasn't really transpired into this. And this is also old. This is as of 10th. So yesterday's data, basically, we will need to see what happens. Maybe tomorrow we'll see what happened today as far as miners being plugged in here. But that's on the 30-day average, continues to go up here. We're at 716 exahash here still currently. And then quickly, let's take a look at the hash price on it. Hash price is going up nicely here. So we got to, $57 per petahash. That's really good for the miners. That makes them more profitable. And that's why the stocks are really pumping right now, because as Bitcoin pumps, their profitability increases tremendously here. So that's helping them out as well. All right, next here, let's take a look at really quick here. What do I want to take a look at? Bitcoin returns here. So yesterday we talked about that. That was 15% so far in November. If we refresh this page, we can see that we are now at 24% up in November for Bitcoin. A really good month here starting to shape up for us, which is great. All right, now as far as me reevaluating everything with Bitcoin and things like that, the reason I'm reevaluating things is because I saw someplace today that the Republicans have controlled the House. I think they got to 218 in there, and I'm not seeing here. I checked CNN, I checked also Fox. They're not showing it, so I'm not sure where that was coming from. But they were saying that they got them to 218. And that's the reason why I was thinking about reevaluating things as far as my price prediction or price target for Bitcoin is. My original price target was 180, right? But now that we're seeing that Trump won, he's got the presidency, the Senate is already in the bag for us, right? We already have 52? 53. So we have the majority there. And then the House, if 218 is already locked in, which is not showing up here, but if it is, they have a trifecta at that point. Meaning, what does that mean for us? Well, Trump has said that he wants to put Bitcoin as a strategic reserve, right? If that happens, oh my gosh, things are going crazy for us. Not only that, but that'll signal to the rest of the world that the United States is putting it on their treasury reserve or strategic reserve. And that's a go signal for all these other countries that are thinking about it, toying about it, or contemplating it, right? And that just puts so much more demand on Bitcoin itself, and the supply is not going to change. We're getting 450 Bitcoin per day from mining. That's not going to change. But if you have so much more demand, the supply cannot keep up with it. What do you have? You have this kind of thing where Bitcoin goes a lot higher than we actually think. So my early thoughts on it is that potentially Bitcoin will surpass 150,000. My original target was 180,000. And I think that we might actually get to closer to 250,000 before everything's said and done, if not even higher than that, depending if we start seeing states also putting it on their reserves. We have companies putting on their reserves, nation states, pension funds. I mean, you got the Bitcoin ETFs as well. There's just so many good catalysts happening for Bitcoin here in such a short period of time that it definitely makes me rethink where I think Bitcoin could have possibly gone. So we might have much better cycle than I was expecting earlier on this year, which is a good thing, right? But that also translates over into the miners. How will the miners then do? So my original price targets for some of these guys, as you guys know, were very conservative, I think. And with things shaping up to where Bitcoin could go even higher, I mean, we're looking at some of these guys possibly reaching $100 or more. I'm going to review that information here, rerun my numbers on some of this stuff here, especially once we get a lot of the quarterly results for the miners, which will have updated shares outstanding. We'll use those numbers, see where we could possibly get to, and we'll probably do that, I'm guessing, the next maybe 3 to 4 weeks once everybody reports. So once that's done, we'll take a look at that. But right now, I'm thinking we're going past 200,000, closer to maybe 250,000, if not higher on it. But by the poll, it looks like you guys are still thinking that it's around 150,000, which, based on everything that I'm seeing here, would be on the low end, I think, of expectation of where things could go. Okay, so that's it for that one. Let's take a look at the news stories that we do have here really quick, and then we'll get into you guys' Q&A after we do the miners review for October. So Marathon had put out a press release today that they bought some more sites here in Ohio, which is interesting, but it's also very good for them. So Mara adds 372 megawatts of capacity in Ohio with 152 megawatts operational and 220 megawatts in development. After reading this, and I had some questions here, and we'll get to those questions here in a bit. But their acquisition is of 2 sites, totaling 222 megawatts of capacity for 270,000 per kilowatt, or 270 per kilowatt, I think. Would have been nice to see what they actually paid per megawatt on it. We could probably figure that out if we wanted to. I think it's 270,000 per megawatt, if I'm not mistaken here. The greenfield development of 150 megawatt site will be gradually energized by year end of 2025, so next year, so that's fine. And then compute is fully secured for operational capacity along with majority of anticipated growth capacity. I'm trying to understand that point there. So one of the questions that I had was, who's in there now? What are they doing with those sites? Are they mining there? Are they actual data centers? Tier 3, whatever it might be. I don't think they would be paying that low of a price for a tier 3 data center. But who's in there now? What's the operations like? Are they mostly hosting? When do the hosting contracts expire? If that's the case, excuse me. Or are they mining themselves? Didn't really see that in here though. But here's what we have. So the acquisitions currently are 122 megawatts. 2025 estimate is another 100, so that brings them to 222. And then they got greenfield sites of 30 megawatts currently, and then 2025 120. Add another 150 to that. That gets them to 372 here. And that's a table I can't really do anything on it. So this is really good news, right? And then let me see. Company believes the sites will accelerate Mara's achievement of its 2024 target of 50 exahash, which is also good. What else do we have here that I thought was interesting? Let me see. There was something that talked about it here. Where is it? I just see. Do apologize. I should have probably highlighted that before I did this. Okay, here we go. As a result of our strategic expansion of the company's total nameplate capacity has increased to just under 1.5 gigawatts, with approximately 65% of this capacity proudly owned and operated by Marathon or Mara. So that's fantastic news, right? Them buying their own sites, having full control of those sites is the way to go. They've learned that the hard way, I think. Especially in the past, they were asset light. Now they are definitely getting more asset heavy, which is good. You have control over it much better than if your machines are being hosted by somebody, which somebody that's hosting them is not going to care as much for them as you, the owner of it, right? You're going to have a lot more for uptime and everything else. So that's really good news there. All right. And then we got Hive here. Hive Digital Technologies announces order of 6,500 Canon Avalon A1566 ASIC miners and groundbreaking of 100 megawatts in Paraguay. So that's good news there, right? We had some questions for Bitfarms regarding Paraguay. Are they having any issues or things like that? But it seems like Hive is still progressing here going forward. So that's at least one good part of it. And then here's what we do have from them. It is, let me see. Frank Holmes, executive chairman, remarked, our disciplined capital management allows us to seize opportunities for ASIC upgrades, boosting efficiency and adding accretive value while building our Bitcoin HODL. With construction underway for a 100 megawatt green energy facility in Paraguay, we are using cash flow from operations to drive growth and capitalize on our position as both Bitcoin proxy and an operational business. Hive is committed to accretive investments that elevate shareholder value and cash flow, which is great. All right, so here's what they're getting. They're getting those Avalon A1566 machines. Those are 185 terahash per machine. They are 16.5 joules per terahash. They did not say how much they're paying for them, though. At least I didn't see that here. That would have been nice to see what they actually paid for them, because that way we could kind of see if maybe pricing on A6 is going up or not. And then the first batch of 500 is going to be arriving this week, and the remaining 6,000 of units will be basically from December through March, so 4 months. So they're getting about 1,500 machines per month at that point. And then the fleet upgrade will replace older 30 joules per terahash A6, boosting Hive's total capacity to 6 exahash. So the miners that I do have in their list will get removed. I'll show that to you guys here in a second. And enhancing fleet efficiency to 20 joules by March 2025, up from the current 5.6 exahash and 22.3 joules per terahash. So those are all great things, great moves by them, especially as they're targeting to get to like 13 exahash sometime next year as well. And excuse me, I gotta clear my throat here because I gotta tickle my throat. Okay, that should be better. And then here's the Paraguay update here. Let's see, the full 100 megawatt Paraguay is projected to be fully operational in calendar Q3 of 2025. So basically sometime, well, next year in Q3, achieving a targeted hash rate of 12.5 exahash with a fleet efficiency of 17.6. This expansion underscores Hive's commitment to sustainable growth and operational excellence, right? So that's all good. And here's a site. They're basically doing the groundwork on it right now. So that's good news. They're still at least building out. I love seeing that. All right, when we look at Hive here, I have them now to 6 exahash. They're currently at 5.6. They are getting about, if we go down here on the machines that I added here for today, they are adding approximately, what is that going to be? That's about 1.2 exahash based on the terahash the machines are and when their delivery is going to be happening here. So that gets us to roughly 6 exahash, and then I have them removing some of these older generation machines here, the 110 terahash and 120 terahash as well, and then 100 terahash. And then it looks like they're going to be keeping some of these 140 terahash, 120, 136, roughly my estimates based on that. So that's a good move for them to do that, and we'll see how they continue to grow. Okay, so that's kind of the update on Hive here. And then lastly, let's get into the Bitcoin miners for October. And where is that at? Monthly. I want to see the monthly one. Here it is. Okay. So on this one, we look at 6 and 8 metrics, right? So we look at month-over-month hash rate growth, BTC percentage sold, Bitcoins per exahash, month-over-month BTC mined percentage, BTC mined, days mined, current hash rate, and HODL. So that includes the all 8. In the 6 metrics, we look at everything except for current hash rate and HODL, because those are just more or less where you're at right now. So I'm looking for improvements over month or amount of BTC mined, things, operational things. HODL is great. Yes, a lot of miners do have it. Some miners do not have it. So I wanted to kind of keep it in both brackets here a little bit. But here's what we got. So month-over-month percentage hash rate growth, higher is better. Cypher came in number 1, 18.14%, followed by Cleanspark, 13.4%, then Marathon, 8.9%, Riot at 4.2%, and Bitfarms, 1.7%. So those are the top 5 there for month-over-month hash rate growth. TeraWolf actually went down a little bit here along with Core. Core is moving machines out. TeraWolf is also moving machines and getting newer machines as part of the deal when they sold, gosh, what was that facility there? Drawing a blank on it, but they sold their portion of the JV and joint venture there. Okay, current hash rate, obviously Marathon is the biggest here, 40 exahash. Cleanspark 31, Riot at 29, and you got Iris at 21, Core at 19 now. So those are the top 5 there, and you can see the list as it goes down below that. And then we're looking at BTC per exahash efficiency, higher is better. Cleanspark came in number 1 with 20.93, followed by IREN 20.9, Hive at 20.71, Bitfarms at 20.51, and then Core at 18.7. Those are the ones that have operated the best in uptime and efficiencies like that for the month of October. And then month-over-month BTC mined, Cleanspark increased 32.86% month-over-month BTC mined. So they're number 1, followed by Iris at 26%, Riot at 22%, Hut 8 at 17%, and then Cypher 11. Those are the top 5 there in that list. And you can see everybody else on it. And then BTC mined. Here, Marathon came in number 1 with 656.35. This is, I believe, I'm only tracking their Mara pool numbers here for that one. Cleanspark came in close second here at 655, Riot at 505, Iris at 439, and Core at 369. Those are the top 5 there. And then days mined, here you can see that Cleanspark came in number 1 with 29.33 on average. Based on my numbers, IREN came at 29. So number 2, Hive 28. Bitfarms number 4 spot with 28. BitDeer with 27 days, roughly almost 28 days. Number 5 spot here. So those are the top 5 here. So how did they all do here? In a second, we'll go over that. But lastly, we got the HODL position here. Marathon. Oh my gosh, Marathon's a beast here. 27,562 BTC HODL, Riot 10,928, Hut 8 9,110. Then you got Cleanspark with 8,701, followed by Hive 2,624. So those are the top 5 hodlers in the Bitcoin mining space right now. And then BTC sold for the month here. Marathon actually added to their position. They bought some more Bitcoin, so that's why they're in negative 0.5. Cleanspark only sold 0.5%, Riot 0.8. Then you got Hive with 82.9 and Bitfarms with 82.6. So those things I think should be swapped out here. Yeah. So those are like the top 5 here as far as selling. Then you got everybody else. Cypher actually sold quite a bit more. And I think that's to buy their sites and things like that. They use that to fund that growth there. Okay. So based on all those metrics here, the 8 that we have here, here's how things stack up. Let's see if you guys, I can't see what you guys' response is, but think about it. Who do you think is in number 1 spot? Who do you think is in number 2, 3, 4, and 5 spot? And here are the results. So Cleanspark came in with a score of 15, right? All these guys get graded on these. So you come in top, you get a 1 point. You come in the second spot, you get a 2 points, right? And it continues going down the list. The farther away you are from the top, the higher the score you get. So this is based on the lowest score. Cleanspark came in number 115, Marathon with 34, along with Riot with 35, Iris at 37, and Bitfarms at 44. So those are the top 5 miners here in October based on the 8 metrics. And you can see how everybody else performed there. And then if you look at the 6 metrics, which do not include HODL or current hash rate, we get these figures. Cleanspark with 9 points, really good. IREN with 25 points, Riot with 30, Bitfarms with 31, Marathon with 32, top 5 miners here again. And then the rest, as you can see down the list here, okay? Then we also track the miners here individually against all this stuff here. So we'll go from the first one here. We'll not go over everything, but you can see here how Cleanspark fared with all the scoring for all these metrics. And you can see Marathon as well, how they do on some of these things. Riot as well. I'll give you guys a little second to catch up on all that stuff. And then you got IREN as well. Bitfarms, kind of average across the board here. Some things a little better. And then you got Hive, a couple of things really good, other things pretty high here. On the scoring, Core, more or less average across the board. A couple of things were low, but some things were high as well. BitDeer, average, one thing below average here, more or less, and then kind of high on everything else. Then you got Cypher, really good month-over-month hash rate growth, but everything else kind of high. And then Hut 8, same thing here, kind of high on a lot of these things. And then finally you got TeraWolf, which is above average on most of these things, except for BTC per exahash efficiency, okay? Now, I do track these guys also, and here's everything that I track on them, and this is how I track it all on that. But we also look at the 12-month average score and ranking. So looking back the last 12 months, how do they rank? And that's based on all their scores averaged out for 12 months. How do they score on the 12-month averages? That kind of evens things out a little bit here. Then we got Cleanspark here with the 8 metrics being number 1 spot with 26 points on average. Marathon with 36, number 2 spot, Riot with 46, Core with 47, Hive with 48. So those are the top 5 here over the last 12 months. And then going down here on the 6 metrics here, you got Cleanspark with 20 points, and Hive with 33, IREN with 34, Bitfarms with 35, and then Marathon with 37. Right, so those are really good scores here. That's kind of the way I look at them. That's what's really been driving my decisions as far as which miners I want to get into. On these things, I look at the monthly productions and everything else, the metrics, all that stuff. Where do I see them being now valued at enterprise value and all that stuff? So that really all drives my decisions, really. It's not that I have anything personal against anybody, right? Some people are, kind of jabbing me a little bit. Why am I down on like TeraWolf and Hut 8? What's the reasoning behind it? Well, this is the reasoning why. It's all data driven. It's nothing that I have against them. It's just what I'm seeing here with the data. Okay. So that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Learned something from it at least. And then let's take a look at really quick. I wanted to show you guys the market cap thing as well. That has changed obviously since Friday because the miners went up huge today. So now we have Riot overtaking CORZ Scientific to be in the number 2 spot with almost 5 billion market cap. Marathon is at 7.3 billion. Then you got Core at 4.8, almost 4.9, followed by Cleanspark at 4.3, TeraWolf at 3.3 as well, and everybody else down the list from there. And also on the enterprise metrics, I like looking at this almost daily because things change daily on these guys here. Still seeing that for future hash rate growth, we got Bitfarms now being the most undervalued here, followed by Cleanspark, IREN, Hive as well, but Hive doesn't have much growth here, so that one could still be a little bit higher, I would think. Marathon now is 114 million, so There's definitely a disparity. What's the word I'm looking for? I think it's disparity. Between some of these guys that have really great operations and everything else, but they're just not being valued for one reason or another, right? It could be with Cleanspark, it could be that the fear of dilution with them, with the additional 300 million being added to their corporate structure there. That could be at Bitfarms, could be the Riot hangover there. IREN, not sure what's going on with IREN there, why they're still being priced the way they are, right? But you're seeing some of these guys here getting way overpriced on this stuff here. Okay, so that's it. All the spreadsheets. I believe everything's been updated for the Patreon members as of, I did this yesterday, so I think you guys should have that except for maybe the Hive update. So I'll get you guys updated with that as well, and then I'll get this out to the YouTube members as well tomorrow in a PDF format. Okay, but that's available to my Patreon members and YouTube members as well. Link for Patreon is down in the description. $8 a month. You might be able to find a couple spots that are $4 and $5. And we have our own private server Discord as well, which I communicate with you guys here at least a couple of times a day, if not more. Today was a lot more because things were going crazy. But yeah, that's it. We'll call it a day here. We'll get into your guys' Q&A side of things. I think I covered everything that I wanted to. And yeah, let's get into Q&A side of things here. Let's see what you guys have to say. And we got a lot of you guys here, which is fantastic. So thank you so much for coming in to watch this and spend a little time with me here. And let's see here. Why is that not working properly the way it should be? I got a hiccup here. Should have something more into it. Well, something's not working. Okay, we'll see if we can figure it out. So I should have a little scroll thingy down there, but maybe that's not loading for some reason. Let's see here. What do I have? Ticker. Let's see if we can pull the ticker in. Ticker's off. Ticker's on. Ticker's not working. So maybe the website's down or something that I'm pulling the information from. Maybe. Oh, there it goes. It popped up. Okay. It just had to refresh itself. What else was I going to say? Oh, if you have questions in the comments, please put question first and then the question. That way it helps me out to find them. Otherwise, I have to go through the comments and everything else. And that way we'll kind of see if we can go through that relatively quickly here. So bear with me while I go up the stream here on comments a little bit and see if we can find some questions without going too far up. Okay. Let's see. Thoughts on Bitfarms up 7% after hours. It's up. I haven't seen the after hours stuff, so I really don't know. Okay. CM says we need Microsoft to buy some Apple and Google, etc. We'll follow. And yeah, those guys, yeah. That'll be nice. I think Microsoft is voting on that in December, I believe. Right, let's see what else we got here. Sour Melon Gimme says, I don't know, Seb, 250,000 sounds pretty bearish to me. I think that's like the lowest that I think it might go. It could go definitely higher than that. Who knows? Okay. Let's see. SH says U.S. government will be buying 1 trillion in Bitcoin over the next 5 years. 200. Well, depending where the price is at, right? They could be paying a heck of a lot more. They could be paying less, depending on where it goes. Could be actually paying more than that. All right. Okay. Let's see. Bitcoin or Bitfarms free cash flow increases in spite of settling losses with previous CEO. That means they are definitely profiting from synthetic. How possible? Yeah, it could be. Let's see. Hello, Seb. MicroStrategy is still performing as good as the miners. Do you think that it can go as high as the miners during this entire cycle? Historically, it hasn't, right? But things can change. So I'm not going to rule it out. Excuse me. Just yet. I think I need a little bit more time to really see if that happens. Bitfarms price predictions. I still think we're going to be at least at a minimum of $10 up and up from there. $25 from Bitfarms would be great. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. I own a lot of Bitfarms. So that would actually be fantastic if we could get that high. But again, my price estimates was based on Bitcoin getting to like 180,000. So if we're looking at 200, 250,000 or something like that, we could be at around $225 for Bitfarms at that point. All right. Seb, will miners peak in the cycle pull back, which is usually March, or they will pull back? Riot hit its all-time high at this first peak and never recovered after the pullback. You're talking about the last cycle. Yes. Riot never recovered. So did a lot of other miners did. The only one that recovered was Marathon at that point, where it reached a peak in March, which was our first top, and then towards, when was it, October, November, when we had our second top. Marathon was the only one that actually went back up and got a new peak at that point. I don't think this cycle is going to be the same as the prior one. The prior one was a one-off, I think. And the reason that I say that is because the last cycle in 2021, we had China banning Bitcoin mining in the country. So you had an exodus, right? That freaked people out because you had a bunch of machines having to be moved to the United States, other places as well. And then you also had, on top of it, Elon Musk and Tesla say that they're not going to be accepting Bitcoin anymore for cars because of their view of the pollution. Bitcoin's not as clean as they thought it was. All right. Sarmelin says, BTC 400,000, mark this post. That would be fantastic. I'll buy you a bunch of beers if you drink beer, if that happens. Okay, let's see. I have PTSD from the last cycle. Yes, over 200 sounds possible, but taking profits way before that. Yeah, I'm going to be probably taking profits before that as well. I originally thought I was going to take profits around 100,000 this time around. Slowly dollar cost averaging out, but I'm looking to increase that now to maybe closer to 150,000, I think, before I start taking profits. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on things, see what's going on, see are we getting Bitcoin as a strategic reserve in the U.S. or not. A lot of things are happening here. Oh, Bryce is in the house. Bryce, how you doing, buddy? Congrats, miners. Yep, congrats to you as well. I know you guys own a lot as well. What else do we have here? Yeah, let's see. Ryan says, Bitfarms has some institutions pushing price down. Nothing else makes sense. Yeah, who knows what's going on there. I think eventually it will catch up. I mean, it had a nice day today. It was up 17, 18%, so that was really good. Not as good as like Cleanspark and Marathon, but Marathon and Cleanspark have the most growth, so I can understand why those guys are going like crazy. Let's see. Alrighty, let's see. Okay, here we go. Question. Is Wolf a good investment? What's the risk for Bitfarms? Thanks. Wolf, I think right now, if you're looking at Bitcoin mining side of things, I think they're way overvalued right now, right? The theory or the hope, whatever it is out there, is HPC ideal for them with somebody, whether it's going to be them having the data centers and having somebody else in there to put their servers in there, or somebody's going to buy them out or something like that. I think that's what's really driving the price of the stock right now. You also had two prominent investors. I'm always butchering this guy's name, and I apologize. Is it Druckenmiller? Druckenmiller and somebody else, prominent investors that invested in Wolf. That had a huge run up on that one, on the stock for that as well. As far as what are the risks for Bitfarms, the risks for Bitfarms are not getting to the exahash that they need to. And Bryce is actually going to have Ben on, I believe. Bryce, if you're still in here, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you guys are having it on the 13th this week. Definitely asking the question about the hash rate growth there, what's going on in Paraguay, things like that. But that and the overhang of Riot. Riot still owns 19.9% of the shares there. If they start selling it, that could be a lot of downward pressure on the stock. So those are the kind of risks there. Okay, Mark says 220 megawatts times 270,000 per megawatt equals 60 million for acquisition for tomorrow. Hoping we get more roadmap for 2025 tomorrow in earnings call. That'll be great. Okay, so yeah, that's actually pretty good. I think that's like right around where Cleanspark's a little bit higher. Cleanspark's like around 315 that we've seen to 375,000 per megawatt or something like that. So it's a little bit higher. So that was actually a really good get. Okay. Let's see. Sauer says people are underestimating Trump and the Republican Congress. Yeah, I mean, they have a trifecta there potentially, so we'll see what they do. Could be really good for us. Okay. A question. The Bitcoin Reserve Bill, is that going to be easy to pass? If they have a majority in the House and Senate, it should be, right? They should be able to get that passed. And he's got a mandate right now. And, he won handsomely this time around. So he's got a mandate. He's got the House and Senate potentially as well, or the other way around, but that should make it a lot easier. Sauer says 100,000 Bitcoin this week. Wow, that'd be really fabulous. I'd love to see that. All right. Okay. Okay, I have my money in Edward Jones, my retirement fund. They wouldn't let me buy Bitfarms at 240 when I asked them to. I'm savage pulling my 300,000 from them. They don't allow any crypto clown show. Wow, that's really tough. Especially since, it's kind of like your money. You should be able to tell them, hey, put this in there, put that in there. But yeah, that's rough. Okay. Let's see. Anyone have a guess as to why Cypher performed like poo today? It's had a nice run up here in the last couple of weeks. Right. So, and they're also catching a bit on the HPCI hype. We saw that with CORZ not performing that well today. TeraWolf was a little bit better than those guys, but still not as great as Bitcoin did today. So I'm thinking some of those guys that ran up tremendously, if we look at the charts as far as where they came from and where they are right now within the last, I'd say 2 months or something like that, they're up huge. So you might have a little bit of rotation happening into some of the bigger miners, some of the pure play miners that are growing tremendously in their hash rate as we go into this bull run, because that's going to generate a heck of a lot more revenue for them. All right. What will it take for the miners to move higher? A little disappointed that Cleanspark, IREN, and Bitfarms have not surpassed their current all-time high with BTC nearly 90,000. Still happy and disappointed at the same time. Yeah, I mean, there's... let's see. Cleanspark, I think, well, this was as of last week, but Cleanspark was still like 45% away from their all-time high this past 52 weeks. And yeah, I mean... I don't think Marathon's back to their 52-week high yet either. There's quite a few actually that aren't there. And the only thing I can think of was a lot of that money that was made there when those guys reached 52-week high was rotated into some of the other miners along with the HPCI plays and hype as well. So that money has to basically flow back into them, I think. All right. Let's see. All right. 2 questions just to get a feel. What would be a fair price for Cleanspark and BTC is 100,000? Same question. Bitcoin is 150. Thank you. I mean, we're only, gosh, I mean, how far away are we now? 10,000 away from that happening, right? Jeez. Yeah, Bitcoin was at 88, 89. What's it at? 88,000. So we're 12,000 away. At 100,000, Cleanspark is probably going to be getting close to, I mean, we were up $4 today. I would say around 20, somewhere around there, $20 to $25 somewhere, I would think. 150,000 at that point, we're looking, it should be like $35, $40 at that point. All right, let's see. Okay, I said, what is the price target for Riot, IREN, Cleanspark if Bitcoin reaches around 120, 100? Yeah, so I just talked about Cleanspark here roughly a little bit. Riot, same thing. I think it should go up higher. Let's see, where's Riot today? Riot today was at $14.97, so I'm guessing somewhere around closer to $20, right? IREN was around 12 today. If we get to 120, 130,000, same thing. I think they should be at that point closer to $20. And what was the other one? The other one was, I think, Mara. Was it Mara? No, Riot, IREN. Yeah, so there's those 3. That's kind of where I would see things. All right. I said, what will be your selling strategy? Dollar cost averaging out. I'm going to dollar cost average out. I was thinking around 100,000 with Bitcoin, but we're only 12,000 away from Bitcoin being at 100,000, and we're still in November here. So this makes me think we're going to be going out much higher than with Bitcoin instead of the 180,000 I was thinking. So I'm going to hold off a little bit longer, possibly not start dollar cost averaging out until closer to 150,000 with Bitcoin being at that point. Yeah, so same thing, same question. What's your exit strategy? Dollar cost average out. Just like I was dollar cost averaging in, I don't know where the top is going to be. Nobody really knows where the top is going to be, right? It's going to be there, and then things are going to go down, and we're going to be like, was that the top? And then we're going to go down some more. It's like, okay, maybe that was the top, right? But at that point, we're going to be down 30, 40% if we have a repeat of the previous cycles. Now, if this is an extended cycle, we could come down 15, 20%, or maybe 30%, and still continue to go back up even higher. I don't know at that point, but you know, Bitcoin being up 150,000 at that point, that should get me to like 7 figures as far as returns are concerned. So I'm going to be happy with that, and I'll just dollar cost average out over that. All right. Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah, disparity. Okay, I think that's the discrepancy. One of the things I was talking about, where I'm trying to figure out what the word is, what the exact word was for that. All right. Okay. Any thoughts on Bitfarms rescheduling their third quarter conference call to November 13th? Gosh, it could be anything. It could be that their numbers are getting back to them later than they thought. Could be a scheduling thing. Could be anything. I'm not too worried about that, though. Okay. Bitcoin hits 100,000. Where do you see Cleanspark and Hive hitting that price targets given the market caps? Well, like I said, Cleanspark I think should be probably closer to like $40, $50 at that point if all things play out this way. Hive, where's Hive today? Hive was at, where is it at? Hive was at $5. So, I mean, that's basically not even 2x anymore. It's more like a 60-70% gain on Bitcoin. I could see them getting to at least $10 to $15, somewhere around there, maybe somewhere around there. But it's tough to say. I also need to see their latest shares outstanding for all these guys, really just to see where they possibly could go to. Because that, if they dilute a heck of a lot in Q3, that's going to have an impact on where the price could possibly go. Okay. So do you think the 90,000 in 2024 peak, will there be a peak in 2025? If yes, how much do you think it will be? 150,000. So I actually don't think the 90,000 is going to be our peak here in 2024. We still have a month and a half to go, and these are usually really good months for us. So I'm expecting us to peak above that, maybe even above 100,000 at that point. And then for 2025, I'm thinking we're going to be higher than 150,000. I'm thinking maybe, somewhere around 200, 250,000, not higher than that. Okay. Andrew says, Seb, don't want to sound like I know-it-all, but the word you muffled was disparity. Okay. Yeah. Oh, sometimes the words escape me. Let's see. Near-term target for Bitfarms. Bitcoin's going up. They're going to be going up. Hard to tell really where things are going to end. The big question is, where will it be in the next 6 months, 6 to 9 months? That's the real question, right? Bitfarms price prediction by January, it's going to be up higher from where it is right now. Depending where Bitcoin goes up, I don't think it's going to go up 2x from here by the end of the year. But if it goes up 50% from where we are right now, that would get us to, roughly 135,000, 120 some thousand like that. Bitfarms should be higher from where it is. It should be closer to like $8, $10 at that point. Okay. Question, should IREN switch to a partial hodl strategy now that Bitcoin is in massive gains mode? They've said that they're open to it, right? Dan has said that in the past, that they don't have like a set in stone mentality that they won't hodl Bitcoin, but they've used Bitcoin in the past to grow and expand their operations, which is fine, right? I think that's kind of short-sighted a little bit, because when Bitcoin does go up much higher like it is right now, where it's ripping faces off, that is the time that you want to be having some hodl in the back, right? Just a little baggy, have it there just in case Bitcoin does go up, which typically it does. And then you can use that, the appreciation on that, it goes 2, 3x, whatever it's going to go. You can use that to then fund operations into the bear market further. So I think that's a better way of doing it than not having a hodl at all. Okay. Question, do you know how many, off the top of your head, how many Bitfarms shares have been issued in 2024? Want to see why we are not at the same price level we were at the late February 2024. Okay, we can look that up. I have the data here. Let's see. And we'll get this updated as well. Let me see. Where is Bitfarms? There it is. Okay, so let's take a look at it here. So Bitfarms I keep track of this stuff here. So this is, let's see. At the end of Q4, they had 334 million shares. That was fiscal year end, right? And then, let's see, it went up quite a bit here. They basically increased by 356 million here at Q1. So that was about, 18 million shares, but they increased a heck of a lot here, 425 million at the end of Q2. I think a lot of that was used for their growth in Paraguay and elsewhere. But yeah, it's a huge increase there. Was it about, what is that going to be? 75 million or something like that? Shares being increased, 19%. Yeah, 19% increase over it. So I have definitely a lot. All right, let's go back to Q&A. Okay, let's see. All right. Do you think the reason IREN might be undervalued because of HQ not being in the U.S.? Yeah, they're headquartered right now in Australia. BlackRock holds IREN the lowest amount and not HODL. Definitely premium for HODL. They should consider. Dan has said before that they're open to possibly, being domiciled in the United States, and they're open to HODL. But HODL, I think you need to do that a little bit earlier. I mean, how much HODL can you actually bring in now? They should have been doing it when it was, Bitcoin was pre-halving, when you're generating a lot of Bitcoin. But also, if we look at IREN here, let's take a look at their numbers for institutions. I mean, institutions have increased a lot here for them. As of the 6th of this month, we have 191 institutions, 92 million shares, 54% owned by institutions. That's as high as some of the other ones are here right now. So I don't think it's that. I don't think it's because BlackRock doesn't own them or owns a little bit of them. So I don't think that's the reason for it, at least not being U.S. domiciled, right? We see this with, okay, so IREN's not U.S. domiciled. So is Bitfarms. And take a look at Bitfarms here. Bitfarms is only at 23% owned by institutions, right? So I don't think that has anything to do with it. If it was the same, where institutions were looking for companies that were domiciled in the United States, then I would think that IREN would be right around the same percentage of, somewhere around there. But that's not the case. Okay, going back here. All right, so you talked about that. The question, Seb, will you sell miners at 100,000? Seems like 100,000 will hit November. Yeah, I'm not selling that early. No, that's why I said I'm reevaluating things right now. Things are looking to be much higher than I expected them. So no. Okay. All right. Please remind me the software you use for the financial analysis available in Windows version. So the software is basically an Excel sheet, but it's Apple's version of it. It's Apple's numbers. The great thing with Apple numbers is that you can put in multiple tables, right? And you can have different things in them. It's just great. And you can put the charts in there. It's a fantastic way of doing it instead of Microsoft's where you just have one sheet and that's all you can do. And you're trying to finagle all the different cells. And this is just so much easier. So that's through Apple numbers. If you have an iPad or something like that, you should have access to it through that. If you have an iPhone, you should have access to it as well. And obviously, if you have a Mac or something like that, you'll have access to it that way. Okay. Will Mara Riot return to all-time highs? I'm thinking it's more possible now than ever if we're thinking Bitcoin's going to 250,000 plus. So that might be the case. How long till IREN taps out the ATMs? Until they're done with them, is that what you're asking basically? That I don't know. I wish I knew, but I don't. Let's see here. Question. Thank you, Seb. I think one question that will come up a lot in this cycle is, what is your exit strategy? Yeah. And I'll let you guys know. If I'm going to start selling something, I will let you guys know. I told you guys when I was buying. I'll let you guys when I'm selling a little bit. But it's going to be slow. It's going to be 5% here, 3% there, 2% there, whatever it might be. It's going to be a slow, gradual exit out of the market. It's not like it's going to go, boom, I'm out, right? I just don't know where the top is, and I don't want to miss. I'm going to miss a large portion of the top, but I don't want to miss all of it. So I'm going to dollar cost average out slowly. All right. Seb, when does IRA report? Thanks for the great job, mate. You're very welcome. If BTC hits 250,000, I will fly you down for a beer. Okay, you're on. As far that, I don't know. IREN is supposed to be reporting here. Is it next week, I think? I could be wrong on that, but I thought I saw something about next week. I'm not sure on that one. I don't think they reported yet. Let me see if IREN has reported it. Let me pull up my miner sheets here. Bear with me a second here. Where's IREN news page? IREN. Yeah, they haven't reported yet. So I'm not sure on that one. And then let's see here. Where's Bitcoin now right now? Bitcoin's 88.7. Okay. Still doing pretty good. All right. Talked about that. Okay, Bitfarms delayed conference call. I am concerned. Maybe sell tomorrow. I'm not concerned about it right now. Other companies have delayed it as well for one reason or another. I don't think it's anything major on that one. At least I could be wrong on it, but I don't think it's anything major. All right. Do you think Bitfarms will get close to their exahash goal before BTC reaches its top? Their target is 21 exahash by the end of the year, right? They've talked about moving machines over to Stronghold about I believe it's like 4 exahash, something like that. So that would increase them quite nicely there, and then they would still have December to increase even more. So I think we need to install like about 6 exahash in December. I think they're going to be close. I don't know if they're going to be able to reach it exactly, but even if they reach it a month later or something like that, or a month and a half, whatever it might be, that's fine. But yeah, I don't think the top of the cycle is going to be until sometime 25 still. So they still have a ways to go. Okay. Wow. Price target of Bitfarms. Price target for Bitfarms if Bitcoin tops at 350,000. Oh my gosh. Oh, are we talking about 350,000 next year? If that's the case, we're going to be looking probably closer to like $50 or something like that at that point. I would have to run the math on it, but depending how much hash rate they install, where does the network hash rate go, all that stuff will play into it. That would be fantastic. Let's see. Sky's the limit once we hit 100,000. I mean, right now, sky's the limit. Once we got into price discovery, sky's the limit for us. Let's see. Hello, Sebastian. Greetings from China. Oh, thank you so much for coming in from China. My return rate this year is over 100%. Thank you for sharing. Awesome. That's great. Let's see. Question. You were predicting conservatively 3x to 5x with 180 BTC. Do you see 6x to 8x with... Yeah, I mean, at that point, we could be... Yeah, I don't know if it... Yeah, I would say maybe 5 to 7x, something like that, maybe. If not higher, conservatively, at that point. All right. Hi, Sebastian. What is your price prediction for CORZ? Depending on the time frame, I think it's going to go up. A lot of the revenue is going to be happening in the second half or the first half, starting the first half of 2025 and then continuing on from there, right? They're going to have a lot of revenue coming in there. So what I expect the stock to do is actually continue its rise in price appreciation until that point. And depending on what they do also with Bitcoin mining side of things, that could hop out tremendously there as well, right? Okay. Question, do you think Mara Cleanspark could go to $300 like MicroStrategy if they hodl BTC? Yeah, I mean, they hodl BTC, but also MicroStrategy holds so much more Bitcoin than they do, right? So, and it's a different MicroStrategy also has a software business there that they're generating revenue on top of it. So it's a different type of breed altogether on that one. Could they go to like $300? Oh my gosh, that would give, I mean, at that point, you're looking at them being valued at, Marathon has how many shares outstanding? 200 some odd million, I think it is, for them. Just take a look at Cleanspark. Cleanspark's my closest one here. So 248 million, 250 million shares. If we do that, 250 million shares times 300, I can't do that math in my head. It's too late for that. I'm too tired. Let me pull it up here. 250 million shares times 300. That would get them at 75 billion market cap. Right? Maybe. I think that's a little too high, though. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. Okay. Talked about that one. Let's see. So Bitcoin hits 200 to 150,000. What does Cleanspark look like? I'm guessing it's going to be over $100 at that point. Okay, let's see. Seb plan put forward pre-election was 200 billion for 5 years as a strategic reserve, regardless of what BTC price is. So 1 trillion will be total. Okay. All right. What else have we? Okay. Question: thoughts on Bitfarms moving ER to Wednesday? Feeling bullish or bearish? I'm neutral, neither or, on that one. It could be just a conflict of appointments or something like that, or whatever it might be. We'll find out if they report on that. Okay. Today, 1.12 billion ETF inflows. Nice. Why are folks selling Wolf? The only reason I could think of for that would be, right, there's really no news on the HPCI deal for any customer there. And that's kind of what's driven the stock up is the HPCI hype there. And with Bitcoin rallying hard, right, they have a little bit more growth in Bitcoin mining, but they're moving, seems like they're moving more towards the data center side of things and HPC AI play there. So I think that might be the catalyst. That's why people might be rotating out of Wolf. They're up huge also. Wolf is up tremendously up here in the last couple months. So they're taking their profits and moving it into the miners that might actually do very well here with Bitcoin going up in value. All right. 1.12 billion inflows today. Please explain what you know about OTC buys. Over-the-counter buys, well, those are not basically marked. They don't impact the price of Bitcoin, right, on the exchanges. But I would think that the OTCs are running close to being dry at this point, if not already. But I don't know much about it. All right. Okay. Seb, what do you think of this price action of BTC was mostly because of Trump's election? Do you think if Trump would not be elected, BTC would go this much higher? I think we're definitely catching a bigger, what's the word I'm looking for? Bigger spike because of it, because of the simple fact that he talked about having Bitcoin as a strategic reserve, right? Now he also has like a mandate along with the trifecta of having the House, the presidency, and the Senate as well. That gives him the potential to get it done. I think that's the bullish catalyst there. All right, what do you think of the Cypher and Wolf? Aren't they going up much slower than the other ones? Will they be left behind? Okay, also have to look at where they've been from, right? If you look at Cypher as well, let's take a look at Cypher here really quick, along with Wolf. Just point something out to you guys. They've had a massive run up here recently. Not the Cleanspark Cypher. So this is Cypher on the weekly. Look at this. Cypher here in the last couple of weeks. This is probably what, 8 weeks or something like that. Whatever it might be. Oh, didn't want to do that. Doggone it. Wanted just to draw it here to the top. It was up 192% here, right? Really nice run up here. And then if you take a look at Wolf, let me go to automatic. There we go. Nope. Why is it not working? Okay. Well, there we go. All right. So kind of like from the bottom here on Wolf a little bit, or you can even go back here. I mean, look at this Wolf. Wolf is up 231% here. And this is basically in the last, what is it, 14 bars. So that's 14 weeks. So 3 months roughly, 231%. Huge gains there. That's possibly why. And then the miners here that are especially growing, like you saw with Cleanspark, going up 30% a day, Marathon as well, right? Those guys are planning to get to 50 exahash, whereas Wolf is at 8 exahash right now. They're looking to possibly get to like 10 to 13 exahash, I think. And Cypher is also, where's Cypher at right now? Cypher, let's see here. I think they're at 10 exahash right now, right? And they're getting to about 13 exahash within probably the next couple of months here. So when you compare those guys and the growth that they have compared to what the growth that Cleanspark has and like IREN and Marathon, along with maybe even Riot as well, they have so much more growth. They also have a much higher HODL position as well. There's just things that will be in their favor, I think, more going forward, especially as Bitcoin goes up in value at that point. Okay, so I hope that kind of explains it a little bit. All right, let's go back to Q&A. All right, talked about that one. All right. Can you please give some ideas why IREN is lagging behind the pack, considering how high it ranks on all its miner metrics? Still can't understand why Wolf is priced when IREN mines. Yeah, well, Wolf is priced on the HPCI hype. That's the reason it's priced up so high. So you got to take that aside, kind of look at it the other way around, right? If it wasn't for that, where would Wolf actually be? I think Wolf would be actually much lower from where it is right now. So that's the reason why. And then IREN was up also quite nicely here in the beginning of the year. If we look back at that one, where is it at? Right there. If you look at it, it's gaining back. I mean, it was up to, what was it up to? A high of 1575, right? This was basically in July. And then it's come back down. There was a short report, I think, that came out on or something else. Yeah, and then it's starting to catch back up a little bit here. But we saw this with IREN. We saw this also with Cleanspark here. Cleanspark reached $24 here in March before the halving event, and went sideways here for a while. And then I think they came out in July that they're going to be adding 300 million shares, and what happened? Doink, it went down, right? So you're seeing some of these guys getting a little bit punished here. Maybe rightfully so, maybe not. But I think eventually they will catch up to some of the other guys as well, as far as percentage gains are. And depending when you bought into them, yeah, I mean, if you bought into Cleanspark at the high of $24 here in March, you're not happy still, right? You're still underwater on that one. So I definitely understand that. So it greatly depends on when you bought into these guys to really see what's going on with them, I guess, as far as performance-wise. So some people are happy, some people are going to be upset. Let's see, Riot peaked around $80 last cycle. Chance of that is happening again. I think now with Bitcoin possibly being much higher than we thought this cycle, I could see that happening, also being higher from that. As long as I think they can improve their operational uptime to like closer to 95%, which is what what's his name there? Jason has stated before that's their goal. If they can do that, then I think they'll possibly make it there and higher. What are your thoughts on BitDigital? Thanks. BitDigital, I think the company is great there. To me, it appears like they're transitioning out of Bitcoin mining. Whatever they have left now is going to be operating throughout the cycle here. And then when the cycle ends, they're going to basically trash those machines, I think, and be done with Bitcoin mining, because they're at 2.4, 2.5 exahash. They were originally targeting 6 exahash by the end of the year. That has gone by the wayside. They're not targeting that anymore. They're also focusing more on their HPCI business. They bought out a data center. So I think they're going to be valued going forward more so on their HPC ad business, if they get more customers in there, if they increase the revenues there, that's what's going to drive the stock up. But they were up nicely today. I mean, BitDigital was up 26% as well. And I think they're getting kind of revalued a little bit based on the HPC that they do have there, which I think they weren't being valued on that, nor on their Bitcoin mining. Let's see, Hive peaked last cycle too. No, I'm trying to think. I think they did peak last cycle, but they've also done a reverse split here in the last couple of years. So it's going to be hard to tell where they were. I have to look back through the numbers, but they might peak again. Let's see. Hive may hit 12 exahash before Bitfarms. Well, yeah, I mean, we'll see it, but I don't think that's the case. I think Bitfarms will get there. Okay. Cleanspark 50 says IREN is lagging because they have zero HODL. That could be it too, right? But it didn't stop them from getting to 15 something, but having a little HODL. What else we got here? Okay. With BTC at this price, Bitfarms will be able to HODL more or add to their synthetic HODL as well, which is better. I don't know how the synthetic HODL works, so I can't comment on that one. But then being able to add more to the HODL because the value of Bitcoin is higher, that means they can sell less to fund operations. Yes, I think that's the case there too. All right. Okay. How far do you think Cypher and Wolf will go if BTC gets to 10? 10 million? 10,000? Not sure what you mean by that one. Okay. Let's see here. I'm heavily invested in IREN. How high can it go? My original target here was for them to get to like to $70, $80 potentially. The Bitcoin gets to like 180,000, but now that we're thinking about Bitcoin getting to higher than that, I mean, they could go even higher than this, potentially. Okay. All right. Mark says Sebmara, Cleanspark, and Hut had the top day today because of HODL, and that is why IREN had an average day. Let me see. Well, I mean, Riot was only up 16% as well today, right? And IREN was up 16%. And Riot's got a much bigger HODL than Riot, but Riot's in number 2 spot right now as far as HODL is concerned. You got Marathon and then Riot. So I would have expected Riot to do a heck of a lot better than if that was the case. I think Cleanspark did really well today because trading was halted on it on Friday. That probably wiped out a bunch of shorts there. And Mara was just doing well, I think, maybe because they reported they had the sites also. So did that also help drive the stock up? Got to look at that. Hut, what did Hut do? Hut, is it Kevin O'Leary pumping them a little bit as well? I think he was pumping them on one of the shows, on the financial shows. That could be it. They also have Anthony Pompliano there pumping it. So there could be a good number of things. Let's see. Is there a chance of MicroStrategy being included in the S&P 500? Could that push the stock even higher? Thanks. On the S&P 500, there's some mandates for that. I don't know what those mandates are as far as stock being at a certain value before a certain number of quarters, I think. Revenue also has to be, I think, it's above something. I'm not sure what the restrictions are there. Let's see. Sarah Mount says, what? Is BTC ripping again? Where's Bitcoin at? Oh, it's not. It's going. Don't scare me. That was going up even more. It's actually down just a little bit. 250 down 50. It's still doing good. It's up 88.5. So let's go to the daily here. Yeah, it's okay. I thought we're like above 90,000 now or something. All right, back here. Right. Audrey says Wolf has no HODL and still no HPC deal. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Hello, Sub. How likely are we to fall for the same trick, i.e. believe that BTC will go much higher than initially predicted? My guess is probably very likely. There's always that chance too, yes. But are things different this time around, right? The supply is lower. Again, we know that. We also have ETFs right now, which are buying up a lot of Bitcoin. We also have countries that are buying it, corporations. Now, if we get a strategic reserve, that's another added thing. We could have states, pension funds, all that stuff. We have a lot more adoption here than we did have last cycle. And I think we got rid of some of the bad actors like FTX, some of the other ones, right, that were just bad actors in the space. things are cleaning up, or the space is cleaning itself up, basically. Okay. Yeah, Stanley Druck and Miller is the, yeah, I always keep saying Drunken Miller. Druck and Miller is the investor in Wolf, yeah. And wasn't somebody else there? I'm trying another blank on the name, but there's somebody else in there also. All right. So do you think Bitfarms will beat their predicted EPS tomorrow? I'm not sure what their predicted EPS is tomorrow. But I think they're going to be a negative EPS. All right. Okay. Let's see. Did Trump rally say that he will make Bitcoin the reserve currency? They're going to put it on the reserve. Yeah, I believe that. All right. Okay. Yeah. So if that is true, yeah, that's kind of what we're thinking. Bitcoin will go to like 250,000. All right. Let's see. Which of the major miners is closest in percent to all-time highs, and any predictions on what miner will be the first to break their high and miner least likely to break their all-time high? So we're talking about last cycle. I think Marathon was like $80, something like that. So they still have a ways to go. Cleanspark, we can't really count them having an all-time high because they were only like a couple hundred petahash at that point. They were just a brand new miner at that point. So I don't think that's going to be the case for that one. Riot was at, what, $70, I think, something like that? $60, $70 around the high. So they're still way off. A lot of the miners are still way off from the previous high. All right. Way to Riot have a sell-off. Could be profit taking as well. They've had a nice run up here recently. Okay. Hi, Sebastian. How do you think ADA now? Where's ADA now? I thought there was some news about it today, but I don't know where it's even at. I have it in my crypto bank, I guess you could call it. I have some shares there, but those have been in the red here for a long time. I'm just hoping they get in the green. I'm done selling them unless there's some really exciting news there. Can't see here. A lot of people will be FOMO at 150,000, thinking that's the top. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if that. I mean, a lot of people have also held on to it. You have also a lot of believers, and then if you have pension funds buying it, I don't know. It'll be interesting. We have a lot more complexity here than we have in the past. Okay. Do you think the miners with HODL strategy will move higher as Bitcoin moves up? I think there is something to it. Originally, I thought maybe because we have the ETFs now, right? But you got MicroStrategy you can get into, which is possibly, well, has a heck of a lot more HODL. But I was thinking that this time around, the HODL was not going to be as important, but we'll have to wait and see. All right. Here, let's see. Mark says, Seb, another issue with reaching 52 weeks high is dilution makes it harder to get back to those levels. Not impossible, but harder. Yeah, it does. Yeah, totally agree with you. But the thing that you also have to take into consideration is a lot of these guys, at least the ones that have a HODL, their HODL has increased tremendously here. This is diluted a heck of a lot. They've grown tremendously. I mean, before they were at like 2-3 exahash, whatever it was back then. I mean, you're looking at now them being 50 exahash, right? So huge growth there as well. And they're taking market share from others, which is good to see. All right. What else we got here? Okay. Question. If Bitcoin Strategic Reserve gets implemented plus pro-crypto legislation and countries then mining BTC, how would you see the public miners? Okay. So let's back this up a little bit here. I think countries mining BTC, I don't think countries are going to mine BTC. There might be a couple here and there that might try to do it. But why spend the money on miners, infrastructure, and everything else when you can buy Bitcoin? That's just my take on it. It's a lot easier. Or you can invest in the miners themselves, which are a better proxy on it. So it's kind of like, why do that? Why spend all that money when you can possibly do the other two things, which are a heck of a lot easier and without all the work? And then if you don't know what you're doing and you get in the wrong time, you could really screw yourself that way too. Let me see if I covered that. How would you see? Yeah, I think the public miners will be fine though. All right. Let's see. Andrew says, would be more appropriate for Wolf to trade market cap with IREN. Oh, you guys. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Seb, your quick views on ANI and DMG. ANI, like I said in yesterday's stream, we talked about the smaller miners yesterday. They have not provided their September, October production update yet. And every time I've seen that happen, it's usually because there's financial issues there, right? They cost money to put out press releases. They're trying to save as much money as they can. So that's not a good sign for me. They also host everything as far as ANI is concerned. They host all of their machines with a third party. They don't own any infrastructure. They have older machines there. That one is not something I would want to get into. DMG has some other revenue streams as well. They're okay, but they're also a small miner there. They've been around for a while also. I mean, they've been around since probably 2018, I think, 2018, 2019, something like that. So they've been around for a while. That's hard to tell on that one. I wish they were growing more, but it's tough with having a small market cap. I mean, their market cap is like in sub 100 million. So it's really tough for them to fund future growth through dilution and things like that because it costs a lot of money to do that. So I wish them all the best, but I wouldn't be looking into them. How much would you be DCing out from 150,000? At that point, I would, like I said, 5% here, 4% here, something like that. We'll see how things go up. Okay. Would the tiny market cap miners bring a massive return if BTC at 150,000? Griffin can, Soluna, Mawson, Argo, think somewhere up 40. Yeah, somewhere up 40%. And that's because people are going for the kind of like low hanging fruit a little bit with prices being way down there. But last cycle, the one that grew the one that went up the highest percentage returns from the bottom to the top was Marathon. Marathon was up like 70x in that cycle, right? And some of the smaller miners didn't do that well. I mean, they were still up, 17x, 10x, whatever it might be, but they didn't do as well as some of the miners that were growing tremendously. All right. Seb, do you know the approximate value of Bitfarms synthetic HODL right now? I do not know. No. Okay. Seb, got some money to buy mining stocks. Which one do you suggest? I would suggest, you guys kind of know which ones I think are way undervalued right now, right? And that's based on the growth that they have, everything else. Where's my enterprise value on these guys? There it is. Okay, so here's that. So this is what I look at. I think right now Bitfarms, Cleanspark, IREN are way undervalued compared to their peers. So I would expect it, if all things being equal in this world, they should catch a nice run up here in price appreciation over time compared to some of these other guys here. And mainly because we still have a lot of growth in them, right? Riot as well. Marathon could include that also. I think those guys can be up higher, but definitely Bitfarms, Cleanspark, and IREN are the ones that I think are way undervalued right now, right? But that's just what I think. Does the market think that? Could be a different story. Okay. All right. Eddie says, simply stop answering these questions of how much would you insert minor price BTC were hit. It's really annoying. I'm sorry. It's annoying. I know people are out here curious, right? They're coming in a little late sometimes and they want to answer. So I want to be... I know I have a lot of questions here coming up, but I want to get as many questions as I can. And hopefully we don't go too long. We're already going on. How long are we going on now? I'm not even seeing the time. What time is it? Oh, we're all in the end of an hour already. Okay. Let's continue on here. Okay. Except for the fourth time, what is your exit strategy? Dollar cost average out. I talked about that. I thought I talked about it already, but I talked about it a couple times at least. Right? Bitcoin's at 150,000. I'm going to start slowly dollar cost averaging out. Okay. Hey, Seb, after doing extensive research, would you be willing to bet me that Cleanspark will not get past $30 when BTC reaches 150,000? Well, I'm not a betting guy, but I think Bitcoin getting 150,000, that's less than 2x in Bitcoin right now. For where Cleanspark is at right now, that'd be roughly a 2x. So I think they would at least get a 3x on from where that is right now. So I do believe that they would get there. Okay. Doing your research. So where do you see the miners doing like an X multiple on top of Bitcoin, right? Historically, we see at least a 3 to 5x on Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes up just from where it's at right now to 150,000, that's 60,000. That's like 75% increase in it. I would expect the miners to do at least 150 to 225% gains at that point. All right, you're taking altcoins like Mana and Sand. I'm not into altcoins. I got burned with them too many times. I still own some, but I'm getting out of them this cycle. Do you think the miners lead or lag BTC price action? And if so, does this affect the timing of your exit strategy, or will it just keep an eye on BTC up to, okay, in your exit price? Last cycle, the miners led price appreciation. So they topped out before Bitcoin did by about a week, I think, roughly. So yeah, I mean, we'll definitely keep an eye on it where things are going. And, if I see Bitcoin's at 150,000, like Cleanspark's at $60 or $70, okay, I'm going to start taking profits at that point, right? So it's kind of, you have to look at both. Where's Bitcoin? Where's the miners, right? If Bitcoin's doing X and these guys are doing X, 3X, you got to look at that as well and go, okay, well, I'm really nicely in profit now, 10X, whatever it might be. And then go, okay, I got to take some off the table here a little bit. Things are getting a little too frothy, and see where things go from there. Question: after you sell, what are you going to do? What price do you buy at again? Bitfarms. What I'm going to do after I sell, I'm going to probably put it into like the S&P 500, or until I figure out what I want to put it into. I may put it into some Rivian shares for a longer haul. I'm looking to maybe buy some real estate as well. Diversify a little bit, and then, we'll see if we have another repeat cycle. If we do, I would love it if we had another repeat cycle. And at that point, I'm going to start looking. I think if we have a repeat cycle, Bitcoin's going down to like maybe 69, 70,000 again, if that happens, depending on how high it goes. Originally, I was thinking if Bitcoin goes to 180,000, we would probably come back down to around 48,000 on Bitcoin. That's kind of where I was seeing things. But now that we might go higher, we might be actually have a higher low to where it would go down to possibly. So, and at that point, we start dollar cost averaging before that again and repeat the cycle again, rinse and repeat. Okay. Let's see here. Thank you, Sebastian, for all the hard work and effort. You're very welcome. Shout out to the veterans. Yeah, today was Veterans Day. Yeah, that's right. So any of you guys that are veterans here, thank you so much for your service. Greatly appreciate it. I think our thanks to you guys is never going to be enough for all the sacrifice you guys have done. Not only you, but everybody else in the past. So thank you. Okay. When is Mara's next public meeting, and what price do you see Mara if Bitcoin gets 150,000, or what would it take for Mara and other stocks to reach their 5-year all-time high price targets? I mean, I think Bitcoin would have to be like 250,000 for them to reach their new all-time highs. So that's going back to last cycle, right? Which could happen this time. We're thinking Bitcoin could go up higher. Where's it at 150,000? So the way to look at it is just see where Bitcoin is right now. What would it take Bitcoin to get there, right? An X multiple, and then multiply that X multiple by at least like 2. And that's kind of where you could see on these guys. Maybe I should do a video on how to try to figure that out and how that usually works. That's conservative looking because they could do better than that. They could also do worse if they fumble, but historically they've done at least 2 to 3X on top of Bitcoin. All right. Andre says, hey Seb, I just wanted to point out to you that miners that have no HPC AR are actually trading at the same pace as BTC over this month and less than BTC over the year. At 250,000, they would 3x. Well, I have a chart that may differ with that. So take a look at this here. Yeah, I mean recently here. Where's it at? There it is. Okay. So remember this chart from the weekly here. All right, take out Core and TeraWolf out of this chart, right? Because those guys are HPCI plays more or less. Bitcoin right now, from the 52-week bottoms here, is up 119%. This was as of Friday closing numbers, right? But then you got IREN's up 293, so that's almost a 3x, right, from where Bitcoin is. Same thing with Cleanspark. That's a 3x roughly. Some of these other guys, Cypher, 2x, and then some of these other guys here have just performed as Bitcoin has done, right? The reason for that is also that we've had a halving event. The halving event is just not good, terrible for the miners. We know that historically. The only reason that IREN and Cleanspark have done pretty well is their growth. Right, they had a huge run up here, and they were definitely beaten down from last year where they were compared to other miners also. So that also has to play into it. But IREN and Cleanspark have had like the best growth here out of these guys altogether. So That's kind of the way I see things. And as Bitcoin continues to go up now after the halving event, these miners, I think over here like Riot, Marathon, Bitfarms, and these guys even here will do really well going forward, especially because they're going to be generating so much more revenue and everything else. That's going to be a huge spike in their profitability, I guess. Okay, so that's the way I see things. So a little bit differently than the way you see them. All right. He said, what are your thoughts on the trajectory of Mawson and HUT? Do you think they will be able to surpass their 2021 highs sometime in 2025? But if they get to 100, Bitcoin gets to 250,000, then possibly yes. All right. Ryan says, my crude analysis has short-term 200, 3, 205. Okay. Okay. Any concern about Bitmain chip blocked on TSC? Has it been blocked? I don't think it has been blocked. I mean, they're generating revenue, so why would they care, really? The only way it would get blocked, you're talking about like not embargo, but like tariffs or something like that with China. Is that you're thinking there? All right. Where do you see HUT 8 going? Are they goodbye? And do you know what Pampala's role is going to be? Pampala's role is going to be to pump the stock, basically. He's supposed to be there to help them find megawatts or find electrons on that one. So that's his role there. As far as, for the Bitcoin self-mining, they're not great at it right now. They have old machines. They are getting some newer machines finally, which is good. They have more revenue, possibly. I think they have more revenue from managed hosting or managed services, hosting, things like that. But yeah, that's kind of the way I see them. All right. Let's see. Gary says, I think today moved me into the top 305 in miner challenge. I'm still like at 160 or something like that. It's because of Bitfarms and Cleanspark haven't been doing that well in the last, 6 weeks or something like that since we started the challenge. Mikey says 250 BTC equals minimum 10x for all miners. Okay, that'd be great. All right, we're back to 89,000 in Bitcoin. 88, we're close. Okay. Let's see here. Seb BlackRock had 1.5 billion inflows. Yeah, we saw that. Are we in supply shock territory to cause even greater gains? Possibly. With the amount of buying that we're seeing here today and over the weekend, it's like, oh my gosh, the miners are generating only 450 Bitcoin a day. A lot of them aren't even selling it too. So, I don't know. Yeah, I could see that happening. Would you agree that Cleanspark is the most undervalued miner stock at present? I believe so, yeah. I believe them, IREN, Bitfarms are like one of the most undervalued. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Seb. Did you watch the latest video from Pampaliano? Most excellent, everyone. Check it out. And the lost word is discrepancy. Cheers. Okay, perfect. I haven't seen that video. What was it about? I'll have to take a look at it. All right. Doge to 40. It was at 30 something today. It wasn't already. I looked it up earlier today. I have some Doge too, so I'm happy that thing is going up. John, thank you. Yeah, hit the thumbs up button, everyone. Let's see. Seb, am I missing something? But why does TerraWolf and HUT 8 have all this HPC hype around them and not IREN? Yeah, I don't quite understand that also. IREN has bought machines, servers and things like that. They're basically renting out to customers right now. They are getting a little bit of that. They are also working with, who's that? Is it Morgan Stanley? No. One of the advisors, banks there to help them find, I guess, HPC customers, potential ones. But yeah, they're not being valued on that like TerraWolf is for some reason, or Cypher, and Cypher and now HUT 8 as well. It's a little confusing for me. All right. Okay. I wonder how much exahash Cleanspark needs to catch Mara for monthly BTC mined. I thought it might be up to 20% of Mara's exahash. Mara 50 and Cleanspark 40 exahash could make for a tie. Oh, yeah, like right now, Marathon's at 40, Cleanspark's at 31. They're pretty close to it already as it is. So I think they just need a little bit more. I think if they get to like 35, 37, Marathon's still at 40, they could possibly overtake them unless Marathon improves their operational uptime much better. So we'll have to wait. Right. Hi, so do you see any miners getting to 1,000 shares? And if so, which ones? And would you, what you think the BTC price will be at that time approximately? I don't see them getting to $1,000 per share. No. I mean, Bitcoin at that point would have to be probably closer to $1 million, probably more than that, I think, in order for that to happen. Bitfarms moved the ER to Wednesday. Does this hurt the stock? Some people are going to panic on it. They're going to think that's bad news. I don't think it's going to be a nothing burger on that one. Okay. Hi, Seb. Do you think there will be a healthy pullback or crash this week? Still upset with Bitfarms. I'd like to see a healthy pullback, right? But I think they could still go up for days, maybe a couple of weeks even before we have a healthy pullback at that point. Okay. All right. Now let's see. DR Lewis has Cleanspark end of year of 42. End of year. Wow. And Rex thinks 45 if BTC gets to 100,000 doable. Let me see. 45. They're at 15 right now, roughly. That would be a 3x of Bitcoin. Possible. I wouldn't say it's not possible, but yeah. Okay. Hi, Seb. Masha here. When is tomorrow's next conference call? Much appreciate you. You can you're welcome. Thanks for coming in. I think Marathon is, let me take a look at it here. Marathon, I think, just came out with it. Okay, here it is. This was on November 4th. They're supposed to report theirs on November 12th. So tomorrow. They're reporting it tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern time to discuss the financial results. So that's happening tomorrow. We'll get numbers from Marathon. So cool. We'll run over those. Okay, we're already here. So if you guys want to take a look at it, here it is, the information on that one. All right. Okay, going back here. I'm going to answer probably a couple more questions, guys, because we're getting late. It's already 11:30 here. And I'm sorry that I can't answer all you guys' questions. Let's see. Did Seb just say Bitfarms 50? That's if Bitcoin goes way, way higher, right? Okay. Question, have you thought about when Cleanspark 800 ATM offering will be done? Yeah, I mean, they should be getting close, I would think. Mark, thank you so much for that. Let me see. Okay. Hey, so when you say like 5x or 6x, are you talking about from the lows? Where do you measure the 5 to 6x multiple from? So right now, I would say, so Bitcoin goes 2x, right? I would expect the miners to do a 3 to 5x, roughly. Somewhere around 2 to 3x, I think it would be even better because that's more conservative, I think. So if Bitcoin goes up 2x, I would see the miners going up 4x to like 5x, somewhere around there. So from here right now, that's Bitcoin going up 2x, so that means Bitcoin would be 180,000. The miners should do like 2 to 3x on top of that, so you're looking at 6x. So a lot of these guys would be like, if we get to the high end 6x, Cleanspark would be what? $60, something like that, right? Somewhere around there. Marathon would be on the high end, like 100, was it gonna be like 150 then for them? If it's a 6x for it, something like that. That's the kind of the way I would look at it. But that's kind of obviously, you have to take into consideration, where are they at now? Where could they possibly go? And kind of play it in there somewhere. All right, let's see. All right, question. If nations start buying, do you think this could prolong the bull market? Possibly, right? I'm already thinking we might get into an extended cycle. Just everything that we're seeing here, we saw a new all-time high in Bitcoin before the halving event. That's never happened before. We got a lot more adoption with spot Bitcoin ETFs, countries putting it on their strategic reserves, possibly. You got pension funds buying it, all this other stuff. So I would love to have another cycle like we have in the past where, peaks at a certain point, comes back down, and we can rinse and repeat. I would love to do that again. And I hope we do get it, but I just don't know. We'll have to wait and see on the cycle how it plays out. All right, here we go. Question, Bitfarms scheduled their earnings report to be in sync with Strongholds. I think that's the reason why. Okay, well, that makes sense. I didn't even think about that. else we got here? I'm trying to find a couple more questions to get through. Oh. Okay. It's not a question. I'm just reading through these things. Okay, here we go. Question. When does the Bitcoin cycle end? Historically, it would have ended in 2025, sometime in like October, November, maybe September it might end, or maybe even December, somewhere around there. That's usually where it would end. But if it's an extended cycle that we're looking at, maybe in like 2026 or maybe even in 2027, possibly. What is the time, or is it? Where's the time frame for the poll, please? And thanks. Well, the poll right now that we're doing, what do we got here? Looks 150,000 is the winner. 45% of you guys thinking that 150,000. Okay, I think it might be a little too low, but I could be wrong. Let's see. Sour says, I'm calling Bitfarms 21 exahash end of next week. Well, that would be fantastic. Okay. Let's see if I can find another question here really quick as well. What else do we have? Okay, question. Okay. Do you think IREN should announce some progress with Morgan Stanley? They might announce something in their quarterly results, right? Maybe. But they've also put out some stuff here in their monthly results as well, that they are fielding calls from hyperscalers. Was it them or was it Cypher? I can't remember who it was. One of those guys said that. But I'm pretty sure that they're fielding phone calls from hyperscalers as well, but then depends on the deals, right? The economics of it all. Does it make sense? And, can you get something worked out? So time will tell. All right. Let's see. Is Cleanspark the best of all the miners? When you look at efficiency, uptime, growth, I strongly believe so. I think they're one of the best for sure. But you also have some that are kind of nipping at their heels a little bit as well. IREN's been doing pretty well. Also, Marathon's been doing much better this year when it comes to growth and everything else. So, yeah. All right, guys. We're going to call it a day. We're going on an hour and a half here. So, I apologize if I didn't get to your question. If anything, come back tomorrow. We'll talk about it again. And I'll try to get through all you guys' questions as much as I can on that point. But I'm getting to be tired here, and I have to go to the bathroom. So we're going to call it a day. But again, thank you so much, everyone, for coming in. We'll see tomorrow what happens with Bitcoin. We got some companies reporting their quarterly results, and whatever else happens tomorrow as well. We'll talk about it. All right? But thanks again. I appreciate you guys all. Love you all. Have a great night. And, man, good times are ahead of us. So have fun out there. Be safe. Bye.